Hi everyone, and welcome to the final project meeting on medical staff planning for influenza season. As most of you already know, the goal of the project is to analyze trends in influenza across the US and use them to proactively plan for medical staff needs across the country. The scope of this analysis is that the United States has an influenza season where more people than usual suffer from flu. Some people, particularly those in vulnerable population, develop serious complications and ends up in hospital. To change this, our goal is to better plan the distribution of the medical staff by prioritizing states with large vulnerable population. As you might know, we reference as vulnerable population by identifying people with the age over 65. For this analysis, following datasets have been used. The influenza deaths by geography, age, year, and gender, provided by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and the population data by geography provided by the US Census Bureau. Moving in our presentation, by looking at the first chart on the left side, the integration of the mentioned data set shows that the relation between total population and number of influenza deaths per state is strong, meaning that states with larger population do register a higher number of flu deaths, especially those with a higher vulnerable population. If we do check in our temporal chart, by looking at the influenza seasonality in the period from 2009 to 2016, the temporal chart shows that there is no major variation in the number of deaths per year across the states. This condition makes the estimates for the upcoming flu season more reliable, hence easier to plan the medical staff. To go a little bit further in details, if we look at the forecast for Florida, we can see that the estimates of influenza deaths is around 3,000 per year, one of the highest in the US. In the last point of this presentation, the map of the US shows that the east and the south of the US are highly affected by influenza deaths, with the exception of California emerging in the west and having a larger vulnerable population. And this higher number of vulnerable population would explain the darker dots on the map. The overall results show that by planning medical staff, California, Texas, and Florida must be prioritized to better support severe cases who might end up in hospital, confirming our approach about focusing efforts on states with a higher vulnerable population. Thanks for listening.